Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and just a quick reminder, these videos are made possible by patrons on Patreon, people just like you who are supporting the channel. So if you'd like to take a look at our Patreon page, you can click at the top right corner at any time, or check out the description below for a link to our page. So having said that, let's jump into the action. We have 5 new cards to look at for Battle for Zendikar that came out today. Most of them were spoiled through Wizards of the Coast directly through their Twitter or at PAX. But there's one exception to that, so let's jump in and start looking at these cards. So our first card is Hero of Goma Fada, and this was actually spoiled from a screenshot of some promotional material that went out, typically the type of thing that goes out to big box stores like Target or Walmart to showcase some upcoming products, and that's where this picture came from. So it's a little fuzzy. We got the information over here on the right, so I'll read it off to you. It costs 1 white and 4 colorless. It is a creature, human knight ally, and it has a new keyword ability called Rally. Whenever a Hero of Goma Fada or another ally enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn, and it's a 4/3. So it's a pretty cool card. It's not the type of card you're necessarily looking to put in a standard deck because it is relying on the fact that you have other creatures or even allies available, and you can't always count on that in more competitive constructed formats. However, this is going to be a limited bomb. Really nice card. I like the rally keyword. Now, allies in the past have basically done that type of thing. They help kind of bolster each other, but now there's a word for it, and I think that kind of helps and just calls it to your attention a little easier on the card. So yeah, very cool, a very exciting card. Now, the next 4 cards were spoiled directly from Wizards, and the first one is Defiant Bloodlord. Costs 2 black and 5 colorless. It's a 4/5 vampire. It has flying, and whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. So it seems a little pricey. However, you know there's going to be ways to ramp your mana, and we're going to look at one in a few moments here, because this is a set that's going to have big creatures such as Eldrazi, so you'll probably be able to get this out a little quicker than you normally would. 4/5 flyer unlimited for 7 is just fine for me. I'd play that all day long. As far as his ability goes, vampires typically have lifelink, and we saw that in the original Zendikar, so I'm sure there's kind of a tribal vampire element going on here, and I'm sure many of the vampires will have lifelink, and there may be some other gain life shenanigans going on in black, so this will be a nice support card at the rare level to get extra bonus out of any lifelink or any of those other abilities. I like this card a lot. Again, not the type of card you play in Standard because it is a little bit contingent on other stuff going on, but awesome limited bomb there. And a great card to kind of play around with, maybe in a tribal casual deck or perhaps a Vampire Commander deck. Next is Rolling Thunder, and this is actually a reprint. It was originally printed in Tempest, and it has not seen a reprint in a regular set of Magic since. It has been reprinted a couple times in some side sets, for example, Plane Chase, but never in a standard legal set. So this is kind of exciting stuff. This also brings Rolling Thunder into Modern for the first time as well, and that's worth noting. It's a sorcery. It's uncommon. It costs 2 red and X. Rolling Thunder deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or players. This card is a powerhouse. It's at the uncommon level, so you're going to see it showing up in the limited game. It's very, very strong. In fact, it was recently in the Tempest Remastered Magic Online exclusive set that you could draft a few months back, and this card was super powerful even in that format where you're competing with other Tempest cards. But this is a fantastic card. Really exciting to see what kind of impact this will have with burn decks, even in the modern format. And overall, this is one to watch. This could be a big one. This is definitely constructed playable. Next card is Omnath, Locus of Rage, and if you think back to the original Zendikar block, we met Omnath, and he was a green mythic rare creature who allowed you to keep your mana in your mana pool, basically. So now he's back and he's angry, and he costs 2 red, 2 green, and 3 colorless to cast. He's a legendary creature, elemental, a 5/5. His landfall ability is whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a 5/5 red and green elemental creature token onto the battlefield. Whenever Omnath, Locus of Rage or another elemental you control dies, he'll do 3 damage to target creature or player. Okay, so that's insane. First off, you're paying 7 for him, including 2 red and 2 green. So he's not the easiest creature to cast, and you only get a 5/5 for your trouble. That doesn't sound awesome on paper, but once you look at those abilities, now every time you play land, you get another 5/5 creature. You play an Evolving Wilds and you search for a land, and there you go. 10 power toughness just gets added to the board just like that. That gets kind of crazy really fast. And the fact that your opponent can't really do too much. Once you create so many elemental tokens, they can't even board wipe because they're going to get wiped out by the direct damage that comes off of it. So this card's pretty powerful. Normally, I'd say you're not going to cast a 2 red, 2 green, 3 colorless in the standard environment, but there could be a deck around it. If there's a little bit of ramp, maybe some color fixing in the set, and landfall is as powerful as it appears to be so far, who knows? This could be constructed playable, and this thing's a house. Definitely, this can end games quick and limited. If your opponent doesn't have an answer for this when it hits the board, pretty much the game's over. And it just makes those late turn draws just so powerful when you draw a land. You're going to be hoping for a land when you have this guy in play. Incredible card. This is, of course, a mythic rare level. So we got one more card to look at. It is Hedron Archive, and it costs 4. It's an artifact, and you can tap it to add 2 mana to your mana pool, or you can pay 2 and tap it to sacrifice to draw 2 cards. So this is kind of a rift off Mind Stone. Mind Stone was a card that was printed way back, but you've seen it in the Commander products reprinted. But basically, that cost 2. It gave you 1 mana, and you could pay 1 to sack it for 1 card draw. And in the last Zendikar block, they had a card that cost 6, and it tapped for 3 mana, and you could go ahead and pay 3 to draw 3 cards. So this is kind of the in-between, but this is very powerful. You're paying 4, and you basically get a Soul Ring that later you can sack to get cards is pretty awesome, especially in a world of landfall where late game you can maybe draw some cards, and hey, if you get lands, no big deal, you can actually use them to help your board state. So this is great. I can't really say enough good stuff about a card like this. It's not as flashy as the last card we looked at, but it's at the uncommon level, so you're going to see it a lot in limited, which is pretty cool. It's going to help you ramp to those bigger creatures like the Eldrazi, and it's just accelerating mana. Paying 4 seems like a lot, but it's kind of nice that an ability like this is coming out more in the mid game than the early game, because you don't necessarily want people playing this on turn 1 or 2. Then you're playing Legacy. But yeah, turn 4, I think this is fair, and it's just going to help accelerate the games a little bit. Really like this a lot. This card is definitely going to see play. Good enough for constructed play. So those are our previews for today, and the set's shaping up to look pretty good. I'm pretty excited. We've only seen a handful of cards, but they are looking good, and a lot of different and exciting stuff. So hey, as always, thanks for watching. I'm going to continue to be putting these videos out as spoilers come out and try to get the information to you as quickly as possible. Tomorrow there is going to be a PAX panel/show where they're going to talk about some things coming out in the future. I'll be watching that, of course. I'll get a video out to recap that as soon as possible to you guys. So as always, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks as always for watching. These videos are made possible by viewers just like you through Patreon. Please check out our Patreon page by clicking on the top right. Down below, we have more links to quality Magic the Gathering content. And if you're interested in seeing trading cards open that aren't Magic the Gathering, check out the link to our trading card channel, Heroes and Legends Trading Cards. Thanks, and have a great day.